person, we're going to invite Jenny, as a sharer. So let's give a big applause.
First of all, I'm sorry, my English is not good, but I'm trying.
We don't care.
What?
We love you. You're the bomb.
This workshop is a placing workshop, so I want to share my experience placing time.
Amen.
So, where should I start? My relationship with true family start actually. The start point is when I was a high school student. Actually, at that time, I had a chance to apply my my information for candidate 영진님, 형진님. But that time I couldn't make it. Is that right? I couldn't make it. So after that, I couldn't imagine join the true family because the age is already so far. It's already the age is 형진님, 영진님, they already got blessed. So it's far from now. Isn't from me. I thought like that. And then I went to university, and then when I was a fresh year in university, I got suggested, why don't you prepare the Miss Korea, but it was shocked. I didn't think about the Miss Korea. So my major was dance, and then I wanted to focus on the dance and keep going to my major. So no, I'm not interested. But when I graduated university, my thinking was different because I have to go to the outer world, out of college. So maybe if I have a title, maybe it's not bad. Let's try it. So I tried it, and then that time I was not sure. So it's just challenging. It was my challenges. So nobody knows. Because my mom and I prepared, and then I participate Miss Korea, and then I became second place. And then now I'm just saying his mom is more comfortable. But after that, the true parents they knew, they became the second generation became the Miss Korea. So and then that time, true parents was make a list candidate for Kuchini. Yeah, so that's why I could go to. That's why I go to USA for meeting Kuchini with another candidate, and then we met the first time the Hyunjin's house. So many true family, two children was there. The 현진님 and 형진님, the 선진님 and 선진님 and then candidates. Then there's no Bukji님 first time. Then they start to interview us. Then 현진님 has asked to us if you ask. The true parents ask you, will you get blessed with a Kuchin? Then, what is your answer? So, my left side, there's a oldest candidate that was sitting there. she said, yes, because absolutely, they were two parents. But in my case, my thinking was different. Because, as you know, we saw, already the hard time the two children's marriage. Then I felt maybe Gukjunim has answer, maybe not me. So because why I think like that, because I heard many times the true mother spend the true mother attend true father all the time. So true mother and she cannot have time. She could have time take care of children. So they couldn't get a chance get the love much. So I think true children they need love. So without love, how can marriage can be happy, So my answer was, I think I should meet first Gukjunim. And then maybe Hyunjinim misunderstood. Or suddenly he the angry. Can you stay? You should answer the to parents. So how can you say like that? And then I just embarrassed. I had to say, so I'll just be quiet. Yeah, I remember that moment. And then they asked many things. What do you like seasons? So I like 4 seasons because spring is the blooming flowers. The summer I can go to the beach. Autumn is the falling, the beautiful color leaves, and winter is snowing. Everything they ask many things. Then now when I think that moment, be honest. When you meet the spouse, the candidate, it's very important. So you cannot hide you cannot lying. You cannot go long run. The marriage is eternally, right? So you should be honest. Then don't be afraid. God guides you. God will guide you. So I think that, and then that's why actually that time, and then during interviewing, the Gukjunim was not there, but Gukjunim was another room. Then he was listening. So I think as you know, the Gukjunim very honest. So I think he liked my answer. And then, yeah, the like yesterday, last night, the testimony, the meeting the spouse, it's not it's not happen accidentally, So how can I feel and then I never know the Gukjunim has a gun business. I just heard the Gukjunim has his job is businessman. Then in Korea, as you know, nobody has gun, just a few policemen. Now all policemen, even the policemen, a few policemen has gun. And then military they are practicing with the gun. So we never see the gun in the whole life. So you can see the gun only in the movie, the gangs, war. But in my case, my mother's parents, my grandparents, they are rich, so they had some gun when that age. Somehow they can, yes, they at that time they can have some gun. So a few people who has intelligence and then who have a high level. So in Korea there's a level, you know. So and then I heard that that our ancestors, the grandparents, that their family they hunt and then they shared food with the worker and the neighbors. Then so the using the gun not only in the movie for me. So it was the image of gun is not bad thing, you know. It can be culture that you can hunt and then you can share. Then, as the father said, then we have a third blessing. We have 3 blessings. We can control everything in the world. So as the true father's teaching, my mother teach me the how to catch the chicken, you know, cut the neck, grow the feather, and how to grow the chickens, and then that is not, it's a blessing. You should, and then you should be thankful about that. Then you can observe, and then they can reborn through the human. So through that education, so that base in my thinking, I have that base in my thinking. So that's why the Putin, when he showed me the gun first time, I didn't afraid, you know. I was excited. But somehow the Putin, I think, is like it. So, wow, can I see the gun? Really? Like that. So that, yes, how to say, the environment and then whole life, my life is like preparing for meeting spouse. Yeah. So don't afraid, then be honest, and then believe God, and then don't give up. You know, so God God will lead you. You know. So they're working on. Honestly, the Putin and I, not talking much. We are enjoying the slide. we are like the couple. So like doing something, hiking, you know, exercising, more like that couple. So I cannot say which way is good, because all people has their own character. So the couple is different, have different character. Couple has different character. So as you know, as you listen this through this workshop, I think you can cut up the believe your feeling. Yeah. So yeah, it's my blessing story. Recently, I mean, not recently, 2 months ago, maybe, 2 months ago, about 2 months ago, I got a message from True Father, and then, it was great because I thought I was okay because if I'm with the Gukjinin anywhere and whatever, I'm okay. I felt like that. But when I see the last 3 years, there's a struggling so many things, spiritually, physically, everything, the environment, everything. So last year, I should make some goal, some focus. So my motto was, let's run to True Father with the God's hometown in my mind. So I want to really, go. I wanted to really go to the true Father, So let's run to true Father. But 2 months ago, after Fundoke and then praying, then I watched just look at the true Father's picture. Then suddenly I like a feeling that suddenly some thinking pop up, like a true Father's message. The true Father said, "You don't need to run to me. Why don't you think I'm with you? I'm living with you." All right, true Father. So, yeah, right. It's like a printing paper, It's very simple thing, but I couldn't catch up before, but it was amazing. So I opened the Transangyang. After that, keep showing me the Rima is connected living with God. So like for example, true Father said in the Bible, Jesus said, in your mind, I am in your mind, and you are in my mind. Jesus said. The true Father, in the Cheongsang, true Father said in the Bible. And then you should enjoy the being with God anytime, the working, dancing, even the crying. Yes. So then, yeah, right, true Father. Even though living with God, it's not always happiness, right? It's the life, Even though crying, even though we are sad, we are hard time, but with God, I'm feeling different. I'm feeling different sad and different, heartbreak. It's different, feeling different. It's amazing. So I hope you feel like that. So yes, I think that, and then somehow it's one of the condition being bride of Christ. Now, who is the bride? Being together, always together, your husband and wife, right? So we need to. So after that, I'm practicing. Then somehow it's simple somehow the flipping paper, the easy, but somehow it's hard because God used the living, without God, I believe God, but I never think about that God is always here. True God is here, right here. And then my feeling is different, right? Our different feeling, not there, here. He was joining our workshop together. So and then when we think about being the bride of Christ, we need to be together, Christ. So everything that the 형제님 and 국진님 and 연하님, there's a direction is somehow it's one way, recently 형제님 says it's not a religion, it's a relationship, We should feel the God. Right. We should spend the time with God. The Sabbath day, like a Sabbath day. So this year, last year already, I got big gift. So I'm very thankful God. Yeah. Thankful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, new story about interview. Actually, with Kukjinin. There was Kukjinin, but thank you for sharing. Yeah. Our next person is myself. So, really to talk. I don't know what to say, but when Dorek asked me to give a testimony. Actually, I've never, given a testimony because I don't think I have anything to share. Not because I'm young, but because I'm not that good enough yet. But I'm trying to be best in my life. not that like amazing story, but most likely my blessing. So just let me introduce myself briefly. I was born in 1981, just like a few days ago. And yeah, I grew up in Korea, and my mom is Korean and my father is Korean, so I'm like 100% Korean. So yeah, pretty much. I've never thought like going out of the country when I was young until graduating high school, because most likely Korean male we have to go to the army. In my age, that's really hard to get a passport if we don't. I mean, we haven't finished their military service. So I was just normal Korean in Korea, and actually when I was young, middle school, high school, there were like over 200 BCs in my school. I mean, in my church.
Wow.
That area is near the Little Angels.
Wow.
So hold the elementary school and the middle school and high school, and there was a international Japanese brothers and sisters and some international members. But there was only one international member actually who came from all around the world to study from the middle school. So I was able to meet many like Japanese friends. So that was pretty happy and cool. And yeah, then I grew up. I went to the Sorbonne University. I majored in English. But still, I'm struggling so much with English. It doesn't mean you are good, even though someone graduated from the college who majored in English. It's just so hard. Anyway, so yeah, I went to Sorbonne University, and of course I went to the military service for 2 years. And there many things happened in military service. I had like 2 wars with the North Korean because I was serving near the borderline, and actually that was so, like I said, so annoying because that period was 2002 World Cup. And we prayed, actually all the soldiers, all my troops, they were praying. No, after the World Cup, not during the World Cup. So, but they, kind of attacked and we fought. Then many people died. But still the military service, for Korean male, there's so much like things happening and incredible things happening at the same time. So I had many experiences from the military, and I finished successfully because I'm here today. I didn't die. But actually, there's so many people died in the military service during the training and the suicide and many things, horrible things happened. With God's guidance, I was able to survive in such an environment. And since 11 years old, I have my oldest brother, and he is like up there. He's like 5 years differences, but he's someone like God. He's very strict, and because my father and mother, they went out for the witnessing and fundraising, all the church activities. So most of the times we spend just only with our siblings. That's why my eldest brother, he I guess intended to be strict, like father. So he pushed so much, and I had to read the divine principles since I was 11 years old, even though I didn't understand at all. Satan sounds like Satan, which means it's candy in Korean. So every time it says like Satan is not good, but I like the candy. But why they say Satan is not good? Since that age. But anyway, he pushed me, so I read since I was 11 years old. Still, it's exactly the same word. There's nothing has been changed. But every year, it's so much different. It's still the same book, like 20 years. But as I, get more experiences from basically everywhere, from my work and my family, and the relationship with friends, it like came up to me in really different books, in different words. So I can understand what I couldn't last year. That was amazing. So yeah, I have grown up kind of such a kind of tense. That's more than like, military service was way easier than like being with my other elder brother. 'Cause I was pretty happy. My brother. But yeah, he guided me so well. So after I graduated, I started work at the church company foundation in Korea with Kukjinim and with the Hyungjinim at the same time since 2007. And I decided to get a bless in 2007. Actually, since when I was young, I just thought I wanted to get blessed as early as possible, if I can. And I want to have my own children as soon as possible, if I can. So that was my idea, and I was waiting for the father's matching. Because before like military service, there was only the father's matching. And it has been changed while I was serving as a soldier in military service. And after finishing the military service, I went home and my parents told me, yeah, something has changed. So now like there's a parents matching. Yeah, I had no idea what I could do. So I went to the Britain, London. It's like I wanted to escape from Korea and take some time, and also at the same time, I forgot everything for 2 years. So even though my major was in English, but I didn't know, like, I just forgot basically everything. So I went to London and for my studying and just a little bit of break. So that was kind of a big turning point for my life. So to make a long story short. So when I thought, okay, someone asked before, so when do we say I'm ready? Okay, how can I know? I mean, that goal is like, for me. So this is my personal kind of personality or character. Whatever is above 50, I go with that belief, because I believe myself and believe God. As long as there's God, I just go with 51% of belief. I don't think there is 100% sure. Nothing is sure for 100%, because if it's like 51%, I think I can make up. I mean, I can back up. I can support my spouse, like the rest of the 49%. But if I'm not sure, even 1% from the 50%, just 49, I thought maybe no. That's the kind of measurement, like 50%. I'm not ready yet for everything. So to go to come to the US to study. That was when I reached out like 51%. That moment I made a plan, a 10 years plan, to come to the US to study like MBA course, because I had to save some money and I had to study for the test. So it's the same thing. So when I kind of first met my wife, actually my father and my wife's uncle are thinking, this is my brother. They're good friends, so they kind of introduced us first, and we met. Actually, we were in the same major in Soman University. She entered in 2003, and I entered 2000. And in 2003, I was in the army, so we just kind of missed. And after army, I went to London. We missed again. Even though we were in the same major, we haven't met till 2006, late 2006. So I was pretty okay when I met her for the first time, and we spent some time, about 4 months, because we are in the same school. So in the Somin University, we kind of met and talked pretty much a lot. And I don't know why, but since when I was young, because people just told me, you're gonna get blessed with the Japanese. I said, maybe, or maybe not. And of course, when I first met her, yeah, she's Korean. So yeah, I thought, okay, everyone was wrong. Yeah, because she's Korean. And when I had such a mind, okay, I got a 51% now. So I told my parents, and my parents, was communicate with my wife's family. And later on, I kind of one day, I got surprised because she is half Japanese. It's like her mom is Japanese and father is Korean. So, all right, half right, half wrong. But yeah, that's really amazing story. And yeah, that was first thing I kind of wanted to share. Nobody's perfect, and I don't know. Somebody can think I'm 100% sure about something, but that's kind of rare. And I mean, every time someone asks me, how are you or so sure for the blessing to go to the blessing? So yeah, every time I answer I had a 51% of the trust, because I trust myself, and I can be a how can I say, good solver and supporter for my spouse. Why not? So yeah, that was my first thing, my standard to get a match, and after get blessed, of course. Blessing is a reality. The blessing is not the dream. We cannot be happy 24/7 and 365 days. So she is only child, and I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and my father has 13 siblings.
Wow.
So all together, all my relatives is about 80. All my cousins, and my eldest brother has 5 kids. My second brother 4, my sister 3, and my wife's family, no one. She's the only child, and she's grown up, and the rest of the family they're in Japan. So it's such a different environment. So at the beginning, that was so hard because everything is so natural for me and so obvious, and it's pretty much just normal. That's totally not normal for her. It's pretty different. But sometimes, someone say British, they drive wrong side. But that's a wrong side, that's a different side. And that was my concept. Okay, she could understand, and I couldn't understand why she's acting like that and why she's answering and reacting. But at some point we realized that that's not wrong. It's just different. So we could have arguing, and I guess we could have some struggling. But as long as we are communicating each other as much as possible, so that's what I was going. Oh, that's maybe 49% that I have to overcome. So I made my mind. I'm gonna support my spouse. The rest of the 49%. So yeah, that was the thing I was able to overcome. That kind of, I guess that was the biggest barrier so far. We just got blessed 2007, so that it has been just 8 years now. But there's no problem. But at the beginning, there was so much differences between me and my spouse. So yeah, after broke through all that barriers, there was pretty much kind of happiness so far in my life. And yeah, I guess all the times after such a hard time, we see the brightness, and as long as there is a God and Father in the center. So I don't know, there are many candidates here. So if you are still considering and thinking if I'm ready or not, just ask yourself, are you willing to support your spouse like almost half of your life? I mean, 49%. But then I'm sure that is the moment that you are ready for the blessing, and you can overcome, anything. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share tonight. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Thank you, everyone. All right. We have one more brother and sister who want to share, but I don't think they knew. But I wanted to invite Elliot. Okay, let's welcome Elliot with a big applause. And Elliot and his wife. Yeah, one more big applause for your couple.
All right, thank you. Trying to think of what moral lesson I can incorporate in the story. Try and try again, I suppose. So, I'm Elliot.
I'm Shireen.
So, I'm originally I was born in California, lived in Denver for 4 years, and then did OLT twice, so 2 years in Australia. Yep.
I'm Shireen, and my mom's from Thailand, my father's from Ivory Coast. I was born in Ivory Coast and lived Ivory Coast when I was 10 to Thai. And so now I usually speak Thai more than English, French. Yeah.
It's a little tricky because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell my story or if she's supposed to tell her story, because it really is kind of two separate stories that eventually intertwine, but that would take all night. I guess it'll be my story then. Alright, so the matching. So I first started, I'm 26 now. Probably when I was 18 or 19, I first started getting interested. Probably more because my mom was pushing me than anything else. Which isn't a bad thing, I had it in my mind, but I kind of needed that push to get me in that direction. I always had it, in my mind that I would get matched with my parents. I actually was too afraid to go to True Father's blessing, so I always had in mind that I wanted my parents to match me. So probably when I was 19, I had 19, 20. I think I was 19, first year of college. So I just started college, and then we knew this family that my mom mentioned earlier in her testimony during the campfire. And their father, I guess, approached my parents and said that, we really like your son is perfect for my daughter, we feel that they really make a great couple. So I kind of figured, all right, kind of easy for me. I don't have to do much work, so give it a go. That kind of is my personality, is kind of laissez-faire. It's kind of how I take most things in life. Not us, but most things. I changed my character a bit when I met Shireen. So I started talking with her a little bit back and forth. We met in person. There were no sparks flying, and I was kind of like, all right, that's kind of expected. And I was very focused on my school. I started doing computer science, which, if anyone knows, it's challenging, yeah. Especially if you don't have the knack for it. looking for semicolons and commas amongst like millions of lines of code. It's not the most exciting thing. So I was very focused on my schooling. I was focused on trying to get my career started. So I've been talking with her back and forth a little bit for probably over the course of 2 years. She went to European STF for one of those years. I was in Australia for one of those years. And then, eventually we got, at least tried to get a little more serious. So I went and actually spent Thanksgiving with her and a few other holidays. And then I started really questioning, is this really what I want? Like, are we really going anywhere? I personally, for some reason, I didn't have any drive or motivation to really start and engage in a relationship. And I think part of it was because I wasn't ready. And also I think maybe I also didn't give her the chance to kind of show her true character. Because we were both kind of shy around each other as well. We were both, 19, 20. You're still pretty young at that age. You don't really know what you want or what you're looking for. So pretty much after the 2 years now, we really had a serious conversation, and we kind of really talked it out, what are your future goals, your future aspirations, what are mine, do they align, let's see, what else, what are your interests, what are your hobbies, that's probably the first time in 2 years that we actually had a real conversation. Before that, it was just kind of a little wishy-washy, oh, how you doing? Yeah, great. All right, awesome, Or, the typical text, what's going on? Not much. How about you? Yeah, not much either. You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't really going anywhere. So we had a serious conversation after 2 years. Really sat down, talked it out, kind of realized, kind of to the relief of both of us, that we kind of need to make a decision, and we ended up deciding that we weren't right for each other. And it was a little tough on me, it was a little tough on her, because in both of our minds, we kind of had it set that, all right, we're probably going to be matched, within the next couple of years. We're yeah, it's probably destined to be like that. But after that conversation, we kind of realized that it just wasn't the right decision. So we weren't actually matched yet either. That's the thing too. We never even committed to being matched. We were just in the, friends talking phase for those 2 years. So yeah, I basically ended up ending that one, and then almost right away, my mom was like, all right, well, let's look for the next one. And I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for the next one. What she did, she went to a couple matching convocations, which are very educational. It's always fun being approached by parents, and then I don't know. When I'm approached by a parent, I always feel there's a lot of pressure on me. Personally, I would rather not be approached by a parent. I'd rather have them approach my parents first, and then my parents approach me. That to me seems like more of the correct process. Otherwise, it seems like I have to make a decision then and there, like yes, I'll gladly get matched to your daughter. It's a little too much. Yeah, so we spoke with one other sister from the U.S. as well, and we only talked for probably about a month, and we saw right away that both of our plans as well were kind of in two separate directions. Not crisscrossing, but two very separate directions. So I basically, this is where my mom's testimony is incorrect.
Oh, sorry.
She didn't propose an international wife. I did. I said, I don't want an American, I want someone outside of the U.S. So my mom ended up going on the international matching website.
No, that's not right. It was on the same website, but it was
the same?
Yeah.
Okay, well I don't understand how the website works. My mom dealt with that side of it, so. Alright, I'll admit I'm partly wrong as well. But there were 3 candidates though. Not 3 from Thailand. There were 2 from Brazil and 1 from Thailand. So I looked over the profiles, and also this is another thing too I think is important, is that before you look at a picture of someone, you should read their profiles first. Because if you look at the picture first, it does give this idea in your head already before you even read anything they have to say about themselves. So it kind of clouds your decision. So I read each profile, and I don't know, for some reason it was very clear to me which of the profiles I liked the best. And there were a lot of grammatical mistakes, but I could still get kind of the heart. Yeah, I mean, I could see the heart coming through the words. You know, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was interpretation. It was everything was written there, you know, in black and white. But it was. I did have to kind of put some things together and figure some things out. But yeah, I remember I really liked the. I don't know. I got this feel for like a really good, really heart. I can't think of the word now. Really first generation. Little help.
Artistic.
Artistic is not a real word, but we'll use that. I think that is a church created word, but it works well. Artistic. So Shimjung, there we go. We'll use Korean. It always seems to describe things perfectly. So yeah, I'd say like her Shimjung, you know, showed out. And then of course I saw her picture afterwards, and I was like, "Yep, that's definitely the one." So then I was going to go to Australia for kind of a second round of OLT, but this time as a leadership position. And then I kind of figured, you know, Thailand's kind of along the way, so I'll stop over there for a week. And we don't even speak. I mean, I'd say maybe for a month prior to this. Like, we just got introduced to each other. Maybe talked on Skype like 3 times. And I was like, all right, I'll just, you know, go visit her, kind of very informal. I'll stay at the church center, kind of get introduced to her. And then, how much time do I have? Do I have to wrap it up quickly? All right. So I know for my MBA presentations always had a certain time that went over, then my grade would get deducted by certain points. So I went to Thailand. I got there. Shireen was very shy, kind of hiding behind her mom the first time I met her. Very cute. Put a little flower necklace, I think I got. Kind of very, I guess, the traditional Thai welcome. And then, I don't know, in my mind, I guess I had some expectations in my mind of how things would go. You should try to avoid having too many expectations. You're gonna be discouraged, definitely. So in my mind, I kind of pictured like, all right, we'll be introduced, you know, I already like her, obviously, you know, she'll like me right off the bat. And then, you know, we'll start this conversation, I'll go to Australia, do my year of service work, then afterwards, you know, things will build up naturally from there. And we'll get matched after my year of service work. That was not the case at all. So I got there, probably after, I want to say a day or two, I started to realize very quickly that she wanted nothing to do with me. I have to tell the truth, I'm sorry. So I mean, it wasn't like, I don't want to say it wasn't like brazenly obvious, but it was like little things like, oh, maybe we should make the effort to go travel, you know, an extra 10 miles over here to see this cool exotic on a snake show or something. And then you get things like, I don't know, that'd be alright, I don't really want it. So I was kind of starting to feel like, alright, maybe she's not interested, I don't know. And then, kind of as the week progressed, I'd say it kind of started getting worse. And then, out of the blue, on the last day of our week together, the mom, this is one day before I'm leaving, and the mom was like, alright, tomorrow, you guys have to make a decision. Are you getting matched or not? And I was like, whoa. I was like, for me, I was like, oh, I still like her, but like, I don't know if I'd make her. Like, I feel like it would put too much pressure on her, and she would really start feeling like, kind of like it was, I don't know, end of the world, I guess. Like, I could tell she was not happy at all. And then we had a conversation right before. What did we do? No, we got put in a room right before Magic. That's right. Oh, that was the worst experience of my life. So I had this kind of conference room right next to the next to the matching floor, matching office floor. What's that? What's it called? Confederation Blessing Center or something. They have like one floor is dedicated to all the blessing activities. And then there's one little room that's right beside the room where we signed the papers. And it was just me and her sitting in there. And I think both of us, I wouldn't say I was crying, but I was definitely tearful. It was very, very, very heavy in there. And we talked about it. I'd say we were probably crying and tearful and feeling this heavy atmosphere for the first half an hour that we were in there. And you could tell that people outside were kind of like looking in once in a while, like, are they ready to come out? Are they making a decision yet? And like in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't think I'll ever be ready to make a decision. But eventually we kind of talked it out, you know. I told her, I think more to appease the members, because in Thailand you have a lot of pressure on the members, especially if you're in Thailand. Like you almost have to follow like the church leader in Thailand. You have to follow your mother definitely. I mean, that's like above all. So I still won't claim that I fully understand Thai culture. I'm still learning. But I understood kind of this pressure a little bit. So I tried to comfort Shreen in any way I could by saying like listen, like I think we should get matched to, you know, appease your mom. But if we really don't feel it works out, then no problem. Like, I'm more than... Ooh, I don't get teary during testimonies. This is a first. One second. So, yeah, I basically told her that that if it... This is also my first time telling this testimony, that's why. That if, you know, if it didn't work out, or we felt that it wasn't coming together, that oh man. Whew. Oh. That'll laugh or something. Skip it. Can't skip it. It's part of the story. Yeah, I basically told her that, you know, if we feel that, you know, it really doesn't work out, like, that's fine. Like, I'll take full responsibility. I'll go up. I'll say that I lost interest or something along those lines. And then we walked into the room to get matched, and like neither of us were smiling. We were like, in my mind, I still wanted to get matched to her, but I was not happy about it because I knew that I wasn't going to make her happy, and that's kind of one of my main priorities in life. So. Yeah, it's like the first time I cried since I was 12. So yeah, we stood. They had like probably 4 or 5 cameras on us as well. You know, no pressure or anything. It was almost like we're the model match for like all of Thailand and all of Thai's second gen. So we had to, like, we sat there, we signed the papers. I was looking at Shireen. She was not happy at all. She was miserable. I started feeling miserable. And then we got to the screen, and then I just hear Shireen's mom saying, like, all right, we're going to put the Skype on, and your parents are going to watch you get matched now. And I was like, oh man, my dad's going to see me. Like, I knew my dad was going to see that I'm miserable right away. My mom would be overly optimistic to notice, I think. Like, I love my mom to death, don't get me wrong, but there are definitely like some times where she kind of sees like, all right, they're getting matched. This is great. This is fantastic. But you know, maybe sometimes can't see the real sad behind it. So yeah, I saw my mom. My mom was like smiling and like, oh, this is great. And my dad was like looking kind of quizzically, like, oh, doesn't seem very happy here. And so you know, I went through, did our Kyunbaes, signed. And there's a video. They gave me a copy of the video too, like a year later, which is kind of funny looking back now, I want to say, but at the time it was the least humorous point in my life. So yeah, so we signed the papers, did our Kyunbae, and then her and I kind of had like a walk around the block, and then once again I kind of affirmed with her that, you know, if it really wasn't going to work out, you know, I was fine with it. Like, I'm going to be focused on my service projects and my volunteer work, you know, helping to run OLT in Australia for a year, so I'm probably going to be really busy as well, but, you know, trying to communicate as much as we can. And then I told her too that, you know, after my year of OLT was over, I was going to come back again. And then, oh man, I got to find a comic relief in this story. It's getting kind of heavy. But I decided that, you know, after my year of OLT, that I would come back and, you know, I would spend at least a month next time. And then, you know, then we would really have time to sit down and talk it out and get to know each other, you know, a little bit better than that 1 week's worth. So we tried to make a condition during the year where, you know, while I was in OLT, where we try to read 100K together as much as we could, which I strongly encourage for everyone to try to set some type of condition that you can keep and do with each other. You know, doing individual prayer conditionings or fasting is great, but you should try to do something together. Really helps, I think, build and strengthen the relationship. So then after the year, I went back to Thailand again. And this time, there wasn't the warm welcome that I got with the flowers. Like, I came with my luggage, and I first went to the left, and like I was exhausted. It was like a 8, 9, almost 10-hour flight, I want to say. So I'm walking over towards the mom, and the mom sees me, and she's like, oh no, Shireen went around that way. And I'm like, oh okay, well I'll go that way to go meet her. So I go around the other way to go meet her, and then Shireen comes in and sees me, and she's like, oh, I just saw you walk from my mom over here. Why'd you do that? Why didn't you just go with my mom? And you would have been okay. And I was like, and then she was like, oh, never mind, just follow me. And kind of like I was like a little child, and I was like, oh man, this is the start. Like, it got way worse over the year. And then, so for the first week again, it was like progressively, I'd say, getting worse. Like, we weren't really talking with each other. We're kind of going through the motions of, that's something too, like if you set a condition too, you should kind of set it with the right heart and right mentality. Like, you shouldn't just do conditions for the sake of doing a condition, which we kind of did for that first week, is we did like a 7-minute prayer condition with each other. And it was every morning. And every time we did it, like I never felt anything. I wasn't really committed to it. I just did it because I had to do it. I didn't do it because there's anything spiritual to gain from it, or any terms of our relationship strengthening. But then after that week, finally the 7th day, you know, I was like, oh man, I had enough. Like, I've got 2 more weeks to go. Like, I'm not gonna hang out in Bangkok, like, doing this every day. This is ridiculous. There's like, you know, multiple resorts all over Thailand, so I was thinking like, all right, well, if worse comes to worse, I'm just gonna go tell her like, all right, it didn't work, you know, I'll go disappear to one of the resorts for the rest of the time here, and then, you know, I'll come back and then we can just tell them that it didn't work out, and I can go back to the U.S. and, you know, no harm done. And then at that point, I think it was the first time that Shireen, I think, opened up to me and kind of told me what was on her mind. And she's really good at that. She's probably the most honest person that I've ever met, which I really appreciate, you know, because I'm a man and there are many things, especially emotional, that I just do not understand or comprehend. Especially like if she gets upset, like, I honestly probably won't know until she tells me why. But she's really good at telling me why and explaining to me, you know, after a little period of cooling off. So that 7th day we sat down and we had a really good talk. And basically what it came down to was, basically Shireen felt, and you know, me being the guy, I'm totally oblivious to all this, felt that, you know, we were trying to jump into starting a relationship without ever having like a friendship started. So it's kind of like, you know, I mean, it's essentially going from like nothing to oh, now you're married, expect you to do all the responsibilities of a married couple, and you know, she just wasn't ready for that. You know, I guess for some reason in my mind, it didn't really occur to me that way. I was just thinking like, all right, now everything's fine, we'll get matched, and we'll start building the relationship up from there. But for her, she really needed to see that. Do we have any water? Needed to see that there was kind of a commitment from my side of things. That works. So, and then, you know, little by little, she started telling me too about like her past experiences and how she'd gone through the blessing twice and been rejected twice, and you know, gone through the matching process, and it just hadn't really worked out for her in the past, and she'd gone through a lot of hardship and toil and heartbreak. So I had no clue about this at all beforehand. But after learning this, I definitely had, you know, much deeper appreciation for her and understanding of kind of why she was, you know, acting the way she was and feeling the way she was. Like, I felt that I was thinking, I was like, oh man, I have friends back in the U.S. that like, you know, people that like me back in the U.S. I'm like, how can she not like me like this much? How is it possible that she hates me to this degree? Like, it wasn't making sense to me. But then when she started explaining that to me, I was like, all right, now everything's much more clear. So that kind of was the start of, you know, the rise up. So we, you know, I started trying to do little things for her, and you know, I started to talk to her a little more from like the friend perspective. We had a very deep conversation about, you know, my history, her history, just so we understand like where we both come from. It was kind of a comic relief, I suppose. And then just as things were getting better, we were driving from one of the brothers there. He has like a pool near his house. We went swimming, and as we're driving back, I'm driving the car, which in Thailand they also drive on the left-hand side of the road. So luckily I just came back from Australia, which is also left, so I was kind of used to it. But we're driving back, and then you know this song, you know, What the Fox Say? Which is probably the stupidest, most annoying song I've ever heard. But it comes on, and then Shireen's sitting behind me, and her friend is sitting on the other side. And her friend, for whatever reason, loves this song, or at least likes it. So she's like, oh yeah, I like this song. So then me, being the idiot, I was like, all right, you really like it? I'll turn it up a little louder. And then I just hear Shireen saying like, oh, please don't turn it up anymore. And then, I don't know, in my mind, like, I guess I kind of took it as I'm like kind of joking around with my friends, like my guy friends. I was like, it's funny, I'll turn it up a little louder, it'll be funny. So I turned it up a little louder, and all I hear is like, I'm really mad now. And I was like, oh man, I'm done, I did it. Like all that work I did to get the relationship up, it's over, it's done. Game over, I'm going back to the US, like, yeah, I thought it was like, pooh, kaput. So we get back to the center, and she's like dead quiet. And then I had to go to my room or something to get something, and I come back, and she's not, you know, there, because her and we were walking home together at this point. Another thing that I had to work up to get her permission to walk her home. Took some effort. Yeah, I mean, just little things like that. I think it really helps in the relationship. Definitely did for us. But yeah, like I got back and she wasn't there, so I was like, oh man, she walked home by herself. Like she doesn't want to see me anymore. I was like devastated. But then I guess she had to get something herself, so she came out as well. And as we're walking back, I was like, oh, I'll make this up to you. I'll try to do something nice to make this up. And she didn't really want to hear it. She was like, I don't know, I'm upset, blah, blah, blah. So we walked back to her apartment, and then that night I went out to their local grocery shop, and I started buying like all these little chocolates. No idea what type she liked, so I just bought any type that I could find. I knew that we'd been talking about making a brownie together, but they don't have a brownie mix in Thailand, so I had to get a cake mix and then look up ingredients for how to make that into a brownie. And I wrote like little cheesy notes on it. Then when I got back to her office, I was like, I wrapped it up. I got this little card of like a puppy holding like a cat in its mouth, and it has like a really sad face. So I wrapped that up, put it on her desk, and I was like, alright, that's good. I was like, no, that's not good enough, no. So I hid it underneath like a pile of letters and stuff to make it more of a surprise, and I was like, oh man, she'll never find it there. So then I ended up like wrapping, this probably took me about an hour. So I finally ended up wrapping up the present in the mouse cable, so I knew she'd have to get it when she like turns on her computer. Hid that underneath all the letters and stuff. And then the next day I went out for a run, which I found out later was a big mistake. I should have just been there and waited for her. She would have appreciated that more, but I know that now. So I went out for a run for myself to just like think things through. Then on my way back, I tried to buy her favorite drink too, you know, just to try to like really make things better. So I got back to the office, gave the teacher, because she was helping out with the Korean classes, I think at this point. I think she was helping to translate from Korean to Thai. And so I bought like her favorite bubble tea drink. I don't know if anyone, does everyone know what bubble tea is? Yeah. It's so cheap in Thailand, I love it. That is so much there. So I gave it to the teacher to give to her in class, and then I was sitting at the desk like working on some office work or something, and she comes in, and she has this like, I think she was trying to hide it, but she had like this like big smile, like kept popping up and going away, and popping up and going away. And like, I didn't say anything, but I was like under my desk, and I was like, yes, success, I'm back in. Yeah, and that was kind of like, I went from devastation, I went from being, you know, hopelessness to devastation, back to, you know, on track for success again. So, yeah, I mean, from then, and since then, it's kind of been slowly gearing up. It's been a lot of work, and it still is a lot of work, and you know, I expect it to continue being a lot of work, but you know, anything that requires a lot of work is worth it. And so yeah, I mean, a couple points, I guess. You know, a couple points from this story. One is, you know, take the matching seriously, but don't have any expectations in your mind that that person is the perfect one. But if you do think it is the perfect one, be willing to put forth, you know, 200 or 300% effort to show them that, you know, you are serious about it. And then, you know, if they really see that and they truly feel the same, then they will come over and, I guess, over to your side. I don't know, that's the right way to put it, but you know, they will see things from your perspective as well, and there's a good chance that they will kind of take that sincerity and really make essentially anything possible. Yeah, I guess I got a few lessons out of that, but yeah, it's going well now. Next step is figuring out the visa situation, which is not a lot of fun, a lot of paperwork. And figuring out, you know, little steps in our future, but taking things in stride. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Elliot. Yeah, I think it can go on and on, like whole night. It's an amazing story. I'm sure there are pretty much a lot, I mean, more than that. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to ask anybody who wanted to share your story or kind of reflection for this workshop. Just feel free, or some questions.